Hello students, my name is Vishal and welcome to this class of biology. This class is for students of class 7 and today we will be studying about tissues. Before we go ahead, it is very important that we just read what is there on the board, which says learn science for peace and harmony. Now while we are learning science, it is very important that we learn it with a noble mission, that we are going to use it for the betterment of the future, of the world and for the humanity. Therefore, it is very important that we learn science for peace and harmony. And I am sure you will remember that throughout your life. Good. So, before we go ahead and try to understand what's tissue, let's also understand, which you already know about by now, what is the structural and the functional unit of life. What is the structural and the functional unit of life? I'm sure by now most of you are giving the answer with great excitement. So very good. If you've got the answer, very nice. And the answer is cell. Cell, we say, is the structural and the functional unit of life, and every organism is made of cells. Now we know there are certain organisms that are having only one cell. So we call them as unicellular organisms, and there are some that are known as that are having more than one cells. We are the example as well of that. Our entire body is made of so many cells, and there are so many other, like your pet that you have in the house, the cat, the dog, and the plants and all that you see around. Okay, all of these are multicellular. They have more than one cells. Multicellular organisms. So, in unicellular organism, that means all the functions that are required for survival in this organism is done by that one cell itself. That one cell is sufficient to do all the functions for the survival of this organism. And you have read many examples like amoeba, paramecium, euglena. Okay, they are all unicellular organisms. You have read about it. You know them. Multicellular organisms, well, there are so many organisms all around us. The lion, the cat, the dog, the sheep, the mango tree, the banana tree. Okay, all are what? These are all multicellular organisms. Now, when we talk about multicellular organisms, let me just rub the board and then we can get more clarity on what I am trying to tell you. So these multicellular organisms means they are made up of many cells. We are clear about that. But we also know that all the functions, different functions in the body of this particular organism that is having multi or many cells are being performed. For example, there can be a function of respiration. There is a function of digestion, right? There is a function of excretion. Okay, so there are various different functions that are being performed in this multicellular organism. Now, to perform these various functions, okay, they are specialized cells that are very similar in their structure but are dedicated towards a particular function. So they are doing a common function, they are doing a particular function. So there are certain cells, or let me call them as group of cells. That be better. Group of cells having similar structure, doing a particular function. So, group of cells having similar structure, doing a particular function. This group of cells in a multicellular organism that are similar in structure, not same, similar. Okay, pay attention on the words. Similar in structure, and they are dedicated to do a particular function. An important function of the body they are dedicated to do. So they are particular for performing a particular function. These group of cells that are similar in structure and doing a particular function of the body are known as the group of cells. This group of cells are known as tissue. So they are known as tissue. So today we understood what is a tissue. Will you find a tissue in a unicellular organism or a multicellular organism? The answer is obvious. So we will find in multicellular organisms there are many cells, and these cells have many group of cells, and the group of cells that actually have similar structure and they perform a particular function, this group of cells are known as tissue. So what is a tissue? If you are asked what is a tissue, so a tissue is a group of cells having similar structure performing a particular function of the body. I hope it is clear, and I hope you enjoyed the experience of exploring it. So now we came to know about tissue. I hope by now tissue is clear. What is tissue? It is a group of cells having similar structure performing a particular function. That's clear. Now do you think that tissues will be in animals as well as in plants? Yes. Even animals and plants both are multicellular, both perform different functions for their survival. Correct? Oh yes. So tissues can be plant tissues. Oh yes. And tissues can also be animal tissues. And the study, as you already know, the study of living things is known as biology. Yes. Similarly, the study of tissue is known as histology. So, the study of tissues is known as histology. Okay. So, till now what we came to know? We came to know about that cell is the structural unit and the functional unit of every organism. Then we know that a group of cells, similar structure, doing a particular function. Together that group of cells is known as a tissue. Okay. The study of tissue is known as histology. And there are two types of tissues based on the kind of organism that we find them. So there are plant tissues. Plants are made up of plant tissues, and animals are made up of animal tissues. I hope there is no problem in understanding this. Then, before we move forward into any further into this, it's very important that we understand that where the tissue is actually placed in an organism. How can we actually place it? How can we really understand that we know that the smallest unit in the body is cell. Okay. Yes. Then group of cells, same structure, doing a particular function are known as tissue. Okay. We understood this also. I don't think it is difficult to understand. Now these tissues, they form a organ. Organ, can we name a few organs that we have? Liver, kidney, heart. Okay. Now you can see heart is a very important organ for which function? Pumping blood in the circulatory system. Okay, it's very important part. Kidney for filtration of our blood. Yes, and formation of urine. So it's an important organ in the excretory system. Correct. Yes. So organ. Then comes the organ system. Organ system means, when you talk about organ system, let me give you an example, like digestive system, respiratory system, excretory system, nervous system. Now when we talk about a system, means the entire organism has a system developed which has an organ and many tissues that are actually looking after a certain function. For example, respiratory system. So our lungs, the trachea we have, the nasal cavity, everything is dedicated together. They are working for respiration, for breathing, and then further respiration at the cellular level also. Okay, good. So you understood that. So similarly, any digestive system. Okay, we talk about the esophagus, the mouth, the esophagus, the stomach, the small intestine, the large intestine, the anus. So we talk about all this. What are these? Together they form a because they are actually performing a certain task for the body, which is important for the body. Okay. When all these systems are put together, then what happens? An entire organism is formed. An entire organism is formed. Correct? Organism. So, let's put it the other way around. For example, there is an organism, let's say a cat. A cat. The cat has many systems, like it has a system that will help it to breathe. There will be a system that will help it to digest its food. There will be a system that will help it to get rid of all its toxins. Okay. There will be a system that helps it with coordination and control, nervous system. Yes. Okay. So the cat may have many systems. Then these systems are made of what? Organs. Then these organs are made of what? Tissues. And the tissues are made of what? Cells. So I hope you understood that how the journey begins with the cell. Cell forms the tissues form the organs form the organ system, and then we get the organism, the entire organism. I hope it is clear till here. Great. Now let's have a look at the kind of plant tissues. I will not go into detail today because this is just an introduction to the topic tissues. So let's have a look at the plant tissues. Plant tissues. Plant tissues are mainly of two types. One is having cells that can divide. Cells that are actively dividing. Means when they divide, they will give some growth to the plant. Either the plant will be growing tall and the plant will be growing in girth. Yes, the branch of the plant will develop. Yes. So when the plant is growing because it has certain tissues that are growing, and tissues are growing. Tissues are made up of what? Many cells. Yes, and those cells are growing. So they are tissues that have growing cells or dividing cells. Cells that are dividing. Okay. So when tissues that have actively dividing cells are known as meristematic tissue. Meristematic tissue. I hope this is clear. Meristematic tissue. So if you find that you have a small sapling and you're taking good care of it, and the sapling after 1 month or two, you see that the sapling has grown taller, little bigger, more leaves are coming into it. Okay, the branches have grown and the stem is becoming little more thicker. That means which tissue is helping in the growth of the plant? Meristematic tissue. Yes. Why? Because it has actively dividing cells. Correct? Fine. We are okay here. Okay. The second type of tissues, that means, are the non-dividing ones. They don't divide. So they don't have the function of growth. Then what other functions they can have? Because the growth function of the plant is growing because of a certain tissue. We have already addressed that. We have already seen it. Meristematic. The other ones are helping in the other functions. Other functions means supporting. The plant needs support. Support can be a function. What else function? Other function can be there? Yes, conduction. The plant has to conduct the food that it is forming in the leaves, the water or the sap that it is collecting from its roots. Yes, these are the functions that the plant can look into. Okay, what are other? Protective function. Protective means from outside there can be some protection layer forming over the plant. Protective. Yes. So these that do not perform the function of growth and they do not have actively dividing cells are known as permanent tissue. So they are known as permanent tissues. Permanent tissue. So the first one we came to know was meristematic tissue, and the second one we know now is permanent tissue, which has non-dividing cells. Non-dividing cells. I hope it is clear. Till here it is clear. So this will help with your growth. This will help with growth, meristematic tissue, and this will help with other functions. Okay. So growth for meristematic tissue, that's the function, and here other functions. Other functions which we talk about can be protection, yes, support, yes, and conduction. Protection, support, and conduction. Other functions. You want me to write them for you? Okay, let me just write them for you. Protection, okay, protecting the plant. Then what? Conduction. Conduction means movement and transport of sap and food. Conduction, okay, and yes, next one was, yes, what was the next one? Protection, conduction, and support. Why do plant need support? Because they are stationary. They don't move anywhere. They are stationary. They don't move like animals. Animals keep on moving here and there. Plants have to be in one place. And being in one place only, they have to bear all the weather. All the atrocities of the weather they have to. If there will be a strong breeze, they need proper support, right? So the plant needs proper support, it needs conduction, protection. These other functions are done by the permanent tissue, and meristematic tissue takes care of growth because it has actively dividing cells. Permanent tissue does not have dividing cells. Further, there is a more classification. There are more types of permanent tissues which we will do when we do permanent tissues in detail. So this we were doing about plant tissues. Let me come to animal tissues now. So now we are going to go further with animal tissues. Okay. Animal tissues are of four types. Based on their function. Okay, as you know, tissues are group of cells that do a particular function. So we can say based on their functions that they perform, okay, we consider there are four types of animal tissues. Four types. Okay, let's see the first one. Epithelial tissue. What could be the function of epithelial tissue? Protection and covering. Let's put it like covering and protecting. Covering and protecting. Covering and protecting. Okay, very nice. So, supposing if the body was not covered by skin, what will happen? Lot of infection we can get, no? Like an open wound. So the entire body will be an open wound. It will be in for so much of infection, right? Then you can, that's why not only from the outer side of our body, but even the internal cavities also are properly covered and protected. By which tissue? Which tissue is helping the animals to protect themselves? They have a covering and a protective tissue, and this tissue is known as epithelial tissue. Epithelial tissue, the first one. So it helps in covering and protecting. I hope this is clear. First one. Second one, let's go by second one. Second one. Connective tissue. The second one is connective tissue. Now, as the word here clearly describes itself, what is the meaning of connective? That connects. Okay, that connects. That helps to connect. So, there can be various tissues that actually work as how to connect one with the other. For example, we have skin, which is epithelial tissue. Inside, we have muscles, correct? Don't you think that there should be a tissue that will connect the skin with the muscle? Or otherwise, as we move around, our skin will be moving a different way. The skin is not stuck to the body. The skin is not stuck, it just loosely put over the body. Oh, we would look horrible, isn't it? It would be, we would look quite funny sometimes. Yes? Okay, so that's not the case. That means there is something. So yes, connective tissue helps in connecting, and it also helps in filling in. There can be some empty spaces. Those spaces are also filled up by the connecting tissue. For example, there is one organ here and there is another organ here, and there is no space in between, which Mother Nature does not want to be empty. So what will be there? There will be connecting tissue in between. Connecting tissue. Yes. So there are various functions of connecting tissue we can talk about. It has some tissues also. They are, like, for example, our bones and cartilages. Yes, they also help us. They are also part of connecting tissue. Yes. So they can help us with support. They can help with connecting. Okay. Okay. They can also be in a filling in many spaces between organs. So filling in between organs, all this can be there in connecting tissue. So when we look at connecting tissue, we look that they are fibrous. They can be fibrous tissues like areolar and the fat globules, which are also known as adipose tissue. All the fat which is in the body is also a connecting tissue. It is adipose tissue, correct? And areolar tissue, as I mentioned, the tissue that is between the skin and the muscles. Okay. Then we have fluid tissue, even blood. Blood is also an example here. Blood, connecting tissue. Blood is also an example. Yes, blood is a fluid tissue. So blood is also a connecting tissue. It helps. Yes. Then let's go to the third one. The third one that we have here is muscular tissue. And let me straight away go to the fourth one also. Let me just write it for you. Nervous tissue. Muscular tissue will help us with movement. All the muscles. I know many of you children know, while the teacher doesn't come in the class, you keep on showing your muscles, no, okay, how strong I am. So these are muscular tissues. They help us with the movement. Let me also tell you, your heart also has muscles, known as cardiac muscles. Yes. So muscular tissue is also very important part of our body. All the muscles of your body, they are made of muscular tissue. And nervous tissue? Nervous tissue is made up of nerve cells. You know nerve cells? Neuron. Yes, you must have heard of the longest cell in the body. Neuron. Yes, the nerve cell. Yes. So, and what helps us? It coordinates and controls the entire body. The nervous tissue is required for coordination and controlling of the entire body. So nervous tissue helps in coordination, muscular tissue helps in the movement, connective tissue helps in supporting, and also it helps in various functions that we will talk in detail. Blood is also an example here. Okay. Then epithelial tissue helps in covering and protection. So today, my dear students, we understood what is a tissue. We understood that the study of tissue is very important, and we know that it is named as histology. Then we came to know both plants and animals have tissues. Yes, we came to know a little broad classification of plant tissues, like dividing ones and the ones that don't have dividing cells in them. Yes, then we came to know about the 4 important types of the animal tissues. Okay, I hope you enjoyed the session. So may God bless you. Thank you so much.